it. I mean, I love me some Dolly, and I have to say, I kind of love me some pit bulls. So, well, thank you, Kennedy, for that cultural awareness moment. So good, so fun. All right, hang on one second. I'm going to change the view on my screen right now. Kennedy, if you'll make sure I'm on speaker view on your end, but I put myself on speaker view, but all I can see is you, which I love you, but that is not what I'm trying to do here. Hang on, guys. Bear with me a second. Bear with me. I'd rather see y'all. Okay. Well, happy Thursday. I am going to share something with you, and we're going to bring this full circle. But first, I'm going to share my screen. And many of you have seen this before. Not a Zoom screen. That's not what you've seen before. Okay, can y'all see this? Can y'all see the graph?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. So this is the graph of technology adoption. Okay, so basically what happens, and this really has to do with more than technology. However, I think in technology, this shows up perfectly pretty much all the time. So what you have when new technology happens, you first have your innovators, right? So these are the people coming up with the new ideas. They are figuring it out. They are literally at the very beginning of the process before anybody else has ever even heard of it. These are your tech enthusiasts, okay? These are your tech people, do or die. This is only 2.5% of the population, okay? So very, very small percentage of people would be considered innovators. But then after the innovation phase, you get into the early adopters, and these are your visionaries. So some of you on this call, I believe, are early adopters. 13.5% of the population would fall into this early adoption category. So if you always go out and get the brand new iPhone, you are likely an early adopter. Okay. If you hear about some new technology or some new product or some new something, and you're the first of your friend group or one of the first in the market center to grab a hold of it, you would be an early adopter. You're willing to jump on and be a leader before everybody else. And then you have your pragmatics. And those are your early majority people. These people are reasonable, probably a little bit cautious. But reasonable, and they're not late adopters, right? But they're early majority. Okay, so we've got 13% plus 34% plus the 2%, right? We're at about 50% of people have adopted something new at this point. And then you have your late majority, and these people are watching all of the early majority, and they're deciding whether or not this is something that they want to get on board with. And they're deciding, is this going to work for me? Is this really worth me learning something new? Is it worth me changing? And they start to see that the early adopters and the early majority are having success. And so they go, okay, fine. I'll get the iPhone. I'll jump on board with this. And then you have your laggards. Well, I don't know about any of you guys, but like just the idea of being a laggard in and of itself is a pretty negative word, but those are your skeptics, okay? Those are the people that literally are the last to the party, okay? The last to the party. Everybody is using it, and you're still going, huh? What is that? Never heard of it before. So confused. Does that really work? What's Facebook? Okay, for example. All right, so that's the curve of innovation. So I'm using the example of technology, but understand that we have opportunities in our businesses to decide where we want to be on that graph and that bell curve all the time. Okay, so I'm going to give an example. iFinder. If you have been with the Market Center for over a year, and you're not certified, I'm going to say you are a late majority to a lagger. Yep, pull your toes back. Okay. If you're not jumping on board yet with private collection, you've probably missed early adoption. You're probably at best now jumping into early majority. If you're not using command on a daily basis, you are a lagger. Now, if you're just joined the market center, okay, that's different. I'm talking to my people who've been around a little while. All right. So again, what I would say, most of us are not going to be the innovators. And that's why we partner around people that can innovate for us. And there's no shame in that. And I'm not saying that every single thing, every shiny penny that comes to the table, we need to jump on and be an early adopter for. And what I want to encourage us is to look at it and say, what are the traits that I need to develop to move just a little faster in the adoption process? So I'm going to give you 4 traits that I believe if you will develop these traits in your life, in your business life, is going to move you from maybe being, God forbid, a laggard, or maybe even a late majority, or maybe even a early majority, and get into that early adopter phase. Because what I will tell you is those who are early adopters become leaders. Those who are early adopters grab market share. Those who are early adopters create influence and create other opportunities because they jump on board. So here are the 4 traits of being an early adopter. First one is to be nimble. Second one is to be aggressive. The third one is to be willing. And the fourth one is to be fearless. All right. So number 1, be nimble. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. What is nimble? Well, nimble just means it's speed. It's agility, right? I saw this quote, those who run faster over time will win. Those who run faster over time will win. Now, this is not a one-hit wonder if I do a sprint one time and I reach all the levels of success, but those who run faster over time will win. Those who learn faster will also win because they will be able to deploy solutions and get greater adoption. Those who learn faster will also win because they will be able to deploy solutions, right? Where everybody else is still sitting around trying to figure it out, you're already running with the solutions. So there is an aspect of speed in business. We know speed to the lead matters. It's not always the most skilled agent that converts the lead. Sometimes it's just the one that gets there first. There's an aspect of speed that we have to jump into. The second thing is to be aggressive. So as I was thinking about this, being aggressive, what is the opposite of aggressive? And I would say that would be tentative, hesitant, kind of tapping our toe, just like, I'm just going to kind of pop into this a little bit. I'm going to kind of feel it out, but I'm not going to really jump all the way in, right? When you tap your toe into the pool water, if you're like me, I've got all the old lady mom vibes down, like, oh, it don't be cold. And I'm like all weird about it, right? And yet I know that if I would just jump in, I'll be fine. But actually that tentative hesitancy actually causes me more discomfort. The whole process is a disaster. My girls are like, Mom, just jump in, get it over with, just do it, right? So be aggressive. The third thing is be willing. Be willing. What does it mean when you have a willing buyer? It means that they're willing to write a contract, meaning they're willing to actually get into action, not just willing to have the conversation or what have you, right? They're willing to do the next step. They're willing to put money on the line. They're willing to get into activity to make something happen. So as you are adopting tools and technology and things that can help you and can help your clients, are you willing? Or are you just sitting around contemplating, thinking about it? looking at 500 properties like you're unwilling buyers, but not actually ever changing your listing presentation to provide seller optionality, not ever actually having a new conversation with your buyer about the value you're providing? Are you doing open houses still the exact same way and you're still thinking about should do these things? You hear Macy adopting these things. I'll give her hats off. She's an early adopter in a lot of this, and she has modeled for us what it looks like to take action. Did she know more than anybody else? No. Was she quick, nimble? Yes. Was she aggressive and not hesitant? Yes. Was she willing to take action? Yes. Did she get results? Absolutely. And is she becoming a leader by doing it that way? 100%. And will it show up in GCI? Absolutely. Will it show up in market share? Absolutely. And the fourth thing is to be fearless. We generate fear when we sit. We generate fear when we sit, and we overcome that by action. Fear is just nature's way that says, Nilsa, get moving. Get moving. Just playing with Nilsa, not her in particular, right? So when we just sit around and overthink it and contemplate it and think we need to go to 55 more classes or 55 more trainings, as opposed to just moving quickly, being assertive and aggressive, being willing to take action, and then saying, I'm not going to be motivated by fear. If it doesn't go perfectly, guess what? A-okay. Everything doesn't have to be perfect for me to move. And I think sometimes we've just got to get over that idea of perfection or complete understanding and say, I'm willing to take some risks. So I want to fill Vanessa Collins' bucket. So Vanessa, if you haven't met her yet, she just joined our market center. Vanessa, maybe 3 weeks ago. I mean, I don't think she's even been with us a full month yet. And she's an experienced agent. She's been in the business for 10 years. She's a good producer, so she's not new. And yet she has jumped in. She's been nimble. I mean, she has jumped in. She's already iFinder certified. And I want to share with you, she texted me last night and just said, I just booked a listing appointment. And what happened was she was in a Facebook group, and somebody posted and said, has anybody had any luck with Open Door or Orchard in terms of selling and buying a home? And so Vanessa commented on there, and Vanessa, you just so articulate. And she said, I'm a realtor and I've had good experience with them. We have an in-house tool for sellers like yourself who don't want to show the home to the public, get to list their home to investors only. Companies like Open Door and Orchard are typically the first one to send bids. I personally love it because we get to negotiate terms on your behalf, since basically multiple offers between investors. The poster says, interesting. I didn't even know this was an option. So Vanessa says, that's the beauty of accepting change. Once all these companies entered the real estate market with their instant cash offer idea, we as realtors had to choose between resisting change or adapting to expand our service. Not all brokers offer this option, so make sure you ask all the questions before entering any agreement to sell your home. And poster said, Vanessa, I sent you a DM. Y'all, that's where it's at. So Vanessa, I mean, amazing job, but here's what's so amazing about this. It's not just what she posted on the Facebook group. It's that she jumped into Keller Williams. She's been here less than 3 weeks. She got her iFinder certification. So she was already confident when this opportunity came. She was confident in the tools that she had to jump in and to go get a listing appointment. That is, guys, that's why we move fast, because we're going to miss opportunities if we're sitting around and waiting. If we're waiting for just our early adopters and we're going to say, I'm going to see if it works for them, as opposed to stepping up and saying, I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to take these things that I know have been vetted. Doesn't mean everything's perfect, but they've been vetted for me. We know this is the vision of where we're going. And guess what? Let's just run with it. And I'm talking to you as huddlers and saying, Y'all lead this. Lead these conversations with seller optionality. I mean, this Facebook post is a perfect example of an everyday homeowner who's looking for options. She's looking for options. And Vanessa happened to be in the right place at the right time, but she had done the learning and the prep and everything, so she was ready to jump in and handle it. And so I just want to encourage everybody, wherever you might naturally fall. I'm going to tell you, I'm not naturally an early adopter either. Okay, that's not, I'm naturally a little bit more hesitant because I'm a little bit more cautious. I'm not a natural risk taker. So I understand behaviorally how that feels. And what I'm going to just encourage all of us is that as we look at these things and we move into the new market, and as our industry is changing, as we're rolling out the buyer representation agreement, guys, that's been out now for months. It's mandatory March the 1st. If you're not using it yet, late majority, two-lagger. Okay, listing agreement's going to be out in March. Be an early adopter. It's going to happen. Right? You might as well embrace it. You might as well run to it and say, how do I use this to my advantage, and go lead with it? So wherever you're at on that bell curve, I'm just going to encourage you to push up a notch. Push up a notch, and let's have huddlers be the early adopters in Dallas Preston Road. Let's have Dallas Preston Road be early adopters in the rest of our organization, because that's how you're going to step out and you're going to lead. 8:47. I didn't realize I went long. Okay, that's all I got, you guys. I'm wondering if we're missing a few people this morning who have AT&T. If you have AT&T and you're not on Wi-Fi, you have no cell service. I don't know if y'all know that, but apparently there's cell service outages. So anywho's, okay, we've got broker chat today. Tomorrow we have what do you call that? Contracts class. And then Command 101 and DocuSign today at 1 o'clock. So if you're brand new to the Market Center, be an early adopter in your business and jump right into Command and DocuSign. You need to know that. You need to implement it. Family Reunion Watch Party is happening next week. Please sign up for that. And I think that's the only announcements. In case I forget tomorrow, there is no huddle all next week because of Family Reunion. Okay, so y'all are huddling with yourselves. So I encourage you to spend 15 minutes reading or doing something to build your mindset and start the day. No huddle next week, no lead gen and call hour today and tomorrow, because Daniel is not here today and tomorrow. So, but we'll be back tomorrow for Open Mic Friday. Hope to see you on. So appreciative of each and every one of you. Go take a listing and let's be early adopters.